I'm living it up in Taipei. Here I hang out with an irresistible Taiwanese beauty.
I love the way you eat this. It really turns me on.
I hunt down the best street food.
She has got to be the fastest chef in the world.
Ooh, potato chips. Shake it, shake it.
And I deliver my most ambitious deconstruction to date. Taipei, a teeming Chinese metropolis, known as one of the region's most fun and dynamic. At first glance, this is a city that's managed to strike a fine balance between beauty and business, between chaos and convenience.
As a city, I love Taipei. You know, it's got beautiful women, so that's always, the first thing I look for is.
This is also where I find the most exciting street food in the world. Here I look forward to experiencing the Taiwanese cuisine, a mishmash of Japanese and Western influences, with its roots firmly held tight to the mainland Chinese.
In Taipei, the first thing I would be looking for is some street food.
But before I check out the amazing street food, I need to meet my local guide, Taiwanese beauty, Crystal Lee.
Well, Crystal asked me to meet her at this exhibition center, and she asked me to meet at this, this maze.
Crystal! Crystal! Perhaps there's something to do with the Taiwanese penchant for cheesy romantic flicks, and I certainly felt like being in one of them.
Alvin.
The maze was just a kind of like a hanging flower garden with a lot of twists, a lot of turns.
Alvin.
And it was time, it just felt like climbing up the wall and, finding out where the he was.
Alvin.
Crystal! Crystal!
Alvin!
There you are!
Hi, I'm your girl.
And when I saw her, and she's very attractive, and she was from Vancouver, and I come from Canada. And we found out more about each other. I decided, okay, that escapade was worth it. The first place she took me to was the Shinin night market.
You can't say you've been to Taiwan unless you've been to one of these night markets.
Wow, what are they selling here?
Deep fried chicken thigh.
They got to queue a mile long just to wait for this
Just
chicken,
for the
chicken steak.
I know the owner.
Oh, you
Come
know,
with
so
me,
you're gonna
come
get,
with me.
we can go to the back and just eat. All right. Wow, look at this.
Size of this
Look at the
thing.
size of this thing.
Literally bigger than my face.
Guys, they ain't gonna kill KFC when they go to the States, okay?
The Alvin Shiling Night Market is one of the biggest, and it's been around for decades. And the best thing about it is not only the food is cheap, but you get a huge variety here.
And look at these sausages, The sausage, the big sausage wrapped around the small sausage, which I think is a very humorous name.
This is how you eat it. Twist. You
Twist,
twist, and kada. So manly.
And then I came across this woman, and she was doing fish cakes and tempura. But what really impressed me was how fast she worked. I mean, she would just like, you gotta develop these arms, like she's an octopus, She has gotta be the fastest chef in the world.
再一盘，再一盘，开玩笑，开玩笑，开玩笑。
Very good.
谢谢。
And I saw the oyster omelet. This is one dish I really want to learn how to make because oyster omelet is an iconic Taiwanese dish. With the cooking process, I was surprised. It was done by a 21-year-old.
That's a generous amount of oyster on the plate.
Oh, that's
是每次
oyster.
都是放这么多的吗？是啊。
So that's the sweet potato starch you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I know what she's putting the eggs on.
So this is just to get the cabbage cooking. Takes about 30 seconds.
Okay.
And The egg and the cornstarch has already turned crispy.
You have this comfortable texture from the potato starch, and because when you bite into this soft, gooey, chewy, it's really comfortable. This one's going to be difficult in deconstruct.
Is that right?
Because it's so simple, yet it's so good. So I have now got to do something to impress you in more. After that busy market, Crystal took me to this high-end shopping mall. Goes from buying, $2 t-shirt to this mall where they're selling Chanel handbags. Where are we going?
Well, there's this one Taiwanese dish that's so popular and so delicious that you just have to try. This is the chef here,
Chef Li.
Li Shifu. So what kind of dish is he going to show us?
是三杯鸡，
Get the chef to tell us about the ingredients of this 3-cup chicken. 3 cups of what? Sesame oil, 1 cup, Taiwanese rice wine, and soya sauce.
And I've been told by a lot of Taiwanese friends, every mother must be able to cook this dish.
Free-range chicken,
Free dancing.
suji,
对，
thighs,
然后
okay.
再来是那个
Taiwanese basil. This is a pig blood rice cake.
So it's pig's blood, the
Yeah.
glutinous rice, the sticky
那个
rice.
Nomi, sticky rice, yes.
Okay.
So that it would be more filling. Sesame oil goes down first. There's 1 cup. The rice wine,
酱油。
soya sauce.
The cooking process of the 3-cup chicken, it was very simple. And, it's a very dry sauce. So you basically, you cook this at a very high temperature until it begins to almost dry up. Now, it's going to be the newest dish, blood.
Wow, there goes the basil. So, wow, that's it, the 3-cup chicken.
I'm really looking forward to taste this sucker or blood cake because, I love blood.
Actually, the Taiwanese people really like this pig blood cake.
Yeah.
There are many, many ways to eat it, but putting it inside the 3-cup chicken actually adds more fun and texture into this dish and make it more filling as well.
Of course, in the chicken itself, okay, I can really, really see all three of the flavor coming together. And I'm doing a bit of deconstruction on Wednesday.
Well,
okay, thank you. Definitely has this very rich taste of milk tea.
This is Taipei, a Chinese metropolis blessed with an enduring cultural legacy and plenty of good food. So a lunchtime date with Crystal at a fine dining establishment next to the National Palace Museum sounds like a perfect date to me.
Silk Palace, beautiful restaurant, looks like a big box of, looks like a giant ice cube that's been cracked up.
this is one of the most beautiful restaurants in Taipei that I must take you.
其实 Silk Palace 它设计的概念最主要就是以那个中国的客栈。那为什么会用中国的客栈？最主要就是可以让它呈现一个非常好的空间的层次感。
Of all the dishes, one dish that you must have when you're in Taipei is definitely the beef noodles. I can tell this is a national treasure because you got almost over 20 different herbs and spices and oils in here. So it's got to stir fry all the aromatic.
好，我再放入
Sesame oil.
This is, I would say, very typical Taiwan. You use sesame oil to brown the garlic and the ginger.
Yeah.
This is something very foreign to me. Well, the cooking process for the beef noodle at the Silk Palace was surprisingly simple. They did the stock and the beef at the same time.
So after 1 hour, we can take the beef out, but we're
Okay.
gonna leave the tendon in for another 2 hours, for a total of 3 hours
Okay.
in this broth.
All right.
So 3 hours later, let's see what we have. Really, really
Really,
yummy.
really nice.
So 师傅现在帮我们煮面了，
这
It's
手
gonna
拉
cook
面
the
对
noodle, the hand-pulled noodle. Wow.
That's a lot of meat. That's almost a main course dish.
So now we're adding some green onions and some parsley to give it a nice color and aroma. This looks like a piece of art.
I've seen it on the streets, and I've had it on the street, and I find it, very, very good. So let's have the beef first. Very soft, very tender, and and all the flavors, infused into it.
I just want my skin to look beautiful, and look at this tendon, it's like jelly.
Okay. A lot cheaper than face cream.
Barely have to chew it. It just melts in your mouth.
Don't get Estee Lauder.
It's so good.
No more face cream, just eat tendons.
You've tried several special Taiwanese dishes, and now I'm going to show you my favorite drink.
You can show me your favorite drink.
My favorite beverage. But before that, we have something special for you.
And the next location Crystal took me was a complete surprise. She actually, see me as cultural, but someone who would be patient enough to go into a tea house, sit down and almost like a Zen thing, and drink tea and meditate or something like that. When we went inside, the first thing that shocked me was the owner was not Taiwanese. He was an American.
Tea is very special. It's at the same time extremely simple and extremely elegant. These days, I think a lot of people in Taiwan, if they don't drink a coffee and they want to drink a tea, they think they'll go to the convenience store and get a bottle. But generally, I think in people's homes, they still have a tradition to sit down and drink tea.
And what was also very interesting was that, Evan actually made all the tea wares. To your style.
Thank you, Evan.
All this adds on to the experience. And then afterwards, Crystal took me to a less traditional tea house.
So one of my favorite beverages is the bubble tea. This restaurant actually invented it.
I think bubble tea is a complete change from the traditional tea house because, the tea is now cold instead of hot. It's got this unique sensation of these little tiny bubbles going in your mouth. I guess that's why they call it bubble tea.
Once bubble tea has been invented, a lot of younger people are starting to spend time at tea houses, and it's attracted a different range of customers who like to drink tea.
Definitely has this very rich taste of milk tea. It is a different experience for me because, instead of getting what nature has given us in this just one single, batch of pot of tea leaf, we're now adding milk to it. We're adding sugar to it, and then we're also chilling it. And now we shake it up, and we add little pearls underneath it.
So this is the base where you create all the tea. The pearls in the cup, sugar water.
So I notice you're using a blender here.
This is red tea. This is condensed milk. Beat it until you can see the bubbles and smell the fragrance.
It's almost like a milkshake texture. All that's fine, but I heard you guys are working on an alcoholic version. A beer bubble tea. Can I make one myself? Okay. Give me a shaker. Okay. Well, I think the beer bubble tea was just fun, taking oolong tea. I know that, in Hong Kong, they drink green tea and whiskey. Oolong tea and beer was something very new to me. Now I'm gonna start shaking it.
Go, go, go.
I gotta do this for about 4 hours, okay?
Go, go, go. Come on, Alvin. Look at her. Come on.
Man.
Go, Alvin. Go, Alvin. Go, Alvin.
Well, girls are
have a
normally very good
champion.
at vertical shaking.
4 hours just flew.
Now we're gonna cheat.
Like that.
Okay, look at that.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Iron Buddha tea, beer, bubble, tea, and souffle. I'm all ready to deconstruct bubble tea. I'm gonna make something visually stunning. You gotta blow the foam off, okay? Please. Cut it in half. See that? Look at that.
Wow, look at that oyster.
And look at that.
This, I promise, will be a Taiwanese meal completely different from what they have had all their lives. Five o'clock in the morning on my last day in Taipei. I've invited all my new Taiwanese friends over to dinner. For them, I'll be deconstructing 4 iconic Taiwanese dishes: oyster omelets, 3-cup chicken, beef noodles, and bubble tea. It'll be a Taiwanese meal you'll never forget. Ji-Chin, Greg, Bonnie, tie your hair back, cut like this one, or else, you're gonna lose all your hair. Grab hard, hard, hard. Have you set this up tight, or you look much better? Okay, can I have another cutting board, please? First dish I'm gonna deconstruct is the 3-cup chicken. Of all the dishes I did, I got to think of some way of introducing some alcohol into the dinner. I've decided to use the 3-cup chicken because it involved wine. What can I do with 3-cup chicken? And I said, well, let's do a 3-cup chicken potato chips. I dehydrated all the ingredients.
Oh.
Okay. Basil.
Oh, this is the basil.
Which he put in last.
Okay.
That's been dehydrated. You can see that's, crispy, dry. We have some dry garlic. There's a dehydrated ginger.
Oh, wow. Dehydrated ginger. It's like paper thin. You're going to dehydrate
Soy
a sauce?
Yes. So I just took soy sauce and I've added some agar. So we're just going to spread this very thin, okay?
Okay.
Dehydration is used a lot in molecular gastronomy. You get a dehydrator. You start dehydrating all the ingredients. The easy ones would be the ginger, the basil, the garlic, but the more difficult ones is, of course, the sesame oil.
So he's turning sesame oil into a powder.
Into a powder, okay? I took some, chicken powder, roasted it a little bit on the pan to give it a bit of, a roasted taste.
Ooh, potato chips.
What better to make 3-cup potato chips?
The powder.
Powder spices, sesame oil.
Okay, shake it, shake it. It's not 3-cup chicken, but we're shaking it. Potato chips, it definitely tastes like 3-cup chicken.
Actually, it's only 2-cup chicken.
Because we didn't add the wine. Beer?
Beer would do.
Oh my god, I'm starting to like it. This
Now.
is perfect. This is perfect.
Second dish, and we're gonna do the oyster omelet.
So you got 5 different kinds of eggs.
So you have duck egg yolk,
Okay.
you have salty duck egg or preserved duck egg,
Okay.
and you have some egg yolk. Actually, we have 2 more eggs. We have caviar, which is fish eggs, and then we have this dry fish roll. The first thing I did was, instead of potato starch, I'm using cornstarch.
Okay.
So instead of using the small oysters, I'm gonna use a bigger oyster, and I'm gonna cover this with this batter and deep fry it. Let's make that secret sauce. So let's start off with some sour cream,
Okay.
ketchup,
Ketchup.
yes, sugar, chili oil. This is the oyster,
Ooh.
cut in half. See that? Look at that.
Wow, look at that oyster.
And look at that caviar, Taiwanese preserved fish roll, and there it goes.
The Demon Chef's version of Taiwanese little eat oyster omelet.
I don't want all this cloth all over it, okay? Clean this, dry paper towel. Clean this, go. Now the beef noodles. I made my own stock, and this is just beef. This has been cooked for almost 20 hours.
Wow, 20
And
hours.
I want noodles to be quite crunchy, true Italian al dente noodles. And I'm gonna make it bright yellow. I'm gonna add lots of saffron into it. Tendon is all about texture.
Yes.
A tendon, I'm gonna braise it in soy sauce and black truffles. Very simple. I'm gonna use the best beef. I'm gonna use Japanese A5, which is, Kobe. I'm just going to season it and sous vide it for about 20 minutes at 65. And then I'm just gonna share it using a blowtorch. And then to even make it more, luxurious or expensive, I'm gonna put in some, gold flakes.
Now he's infused the flavor of truffle inside the tendon, but he also gives generous amounts of fresh truffle. So I decide that I'm gonna eat it together.
The last dish is bubble tea. So I'm gonna make my own pearls. and I'm gonna do 5 different flavors. This is a cold tube of oil, and as it goes down, you see that it forms a perfect spheres, and it becomes a pearl.
It was very surprising to see how he created the bubble. I didn't even think I was in a kitchen.
This is Hong Kong milk tea,
Yes.
and I'm gonna make pearls. Now this is liquid nitrogen. This is negative 186 degrees, so anything that goes in there freezes instantaneously.
And you just put your hand in there. Wow, so fast.
You have milk tea.
I have a beautiful pearl. It melts right into my mouth and it becomes Hong Kong milk tea.
This is mocha.
Look at it, a matcha pearl.
I'm going to now show you how to make a very big pearl. The making of the sugar bubble is basically pour sugar and then you blow it. It's like blowing glass.
Wow, can you believe this is actually food? It's beautiful.
This is the
Earl Grey.
Earl Grey.
Just a little bit
These are the, that's the oolong.
scattered.
Now, here are the frozen pearls.
It looks nothing like bubble tea.
Just as I was putting the final touches to my dishes, my guests started to arrive. In addition to the local chefs, there was also Peter, a popular food blogger in Taiwan. Hello, welcome. Welcome all. The 3-cup chicken, I did into potato chips. Instead of a Chinese white wine, we have our very own Taiwanese beer.
三杯鸡，我觉得，一上来之后，马上就闻到三杯鸡的味道这样子，然后一看，哎，怎么是个 chips？
我觉得 Alvin 真的是蛮厉害的，用这么特别的方法来制作这个3杯洋芋片，觉得很惊人。
So the next dish is the oyster omelet.
它用了很多种不同的蛋去做成的一道菜。可是如果说要去跟我们的台湾的小吃蚵仔煎来做比较的话，我会觉得没有那个味道。
The third dish, 牛肉面 beef noodle.
这道也是非常，就是还蛮令人惊喜的啦，因为它用的是和牛嘛。
最喜欢的就是牛肉面，比如说它用那个，因为低温烹调的方式，它更可以锁住牛肉的鲜味，所以我吃到那个牛筋的时候，老实说我是非常非常满足。
So here comes the final dish, which is a dessert, the bubble tea.
那后面的那个珍珠奶茶，光是卖相就是非常非常惊人的。
刚刚有请教 Alvin， 他说这个珍珠是最难做，非常难做。吃起来的话，我觉得唯一的遗憾是太少了。
Seriously, I want to thank you all. I know the food is very strange, something which give you a different experience, hopefully an enjoyable one.
谢谢。Alvin is the kind of guy who you can tell his personality right away when you meet him. So the kind of jokes he cracks could be in your face as well. And I would just take it as a compliment that he likes me.
Well, I enjoy Taipei very much. I enjoy Crystal very much. She was a fantastic host. I'm almost sad to leave Taiwan, but the show must go on.